وسخر لكم الليل والنهار والشمس والقمر والنجوم مسخرات بأمره إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يعقلون. This is verse number 12 from Surah Nahl. So here Allah said that He has subjected for you, meaning for us all the mankind, al-layl, the night, wal-nahar, and the day, wal-shams, the sun, wal-qamar, the moon, wal-nujumu musakharatun bi-amri, and the stars have been subjected to His commands. Inna fi dhalika la ayatin liqawmi ya'qilun. Indeed, in this subjection, in this heavenly bodies, and in these things, for sure there is ayat, lots of signs for the people who ya'qilun, who reason, who use their intellects. So this verse again is one of the verses that this surah or this chapter talks about the bounties of Allah on us. So we have talked about His bounty on sending the prophets, His bounty for all these beasts and animals that He subjected for us to carry us from place to place, and all other things we have discussed previously, to see how all those things have been created for us. That's why Allah said, Sakhara lakum, for you. I have subjected these things for you. So these are like gifts for us as human beings. And we have never thought it to be like this without Allah telling us. I mean, what the Western philosophy and our contemporary philosophy and science have been telling us, that we are very insignificant. We are like any other small creation. Even we were not meant to be human beings. We are like amoeba, and then we started to evolve. So our place is like any other creation. But this verse comes to tell us that no, all other creations have been created for your service. All I need from you, Allah is telling us, all I need from you is that you worship me. Don't worry about the other things. I have been given you all the conducive environments and elements and gifts here and there just for you to worship me alone, and don't associate any shirk for me. So really think about those layl and nahar, the day and the night, and in the cycle of this is day of night, how our body, our biology, and our psychology have been molded into this perfect, adjusted human being. We need the night so that we could take some rest in our homes and recharge our energy. Okay, and we need the day, which is illuminated by the sun, to go out and work and cultivate and discover this universe and this earth. All these cycles of the moon also and the sun have tremendous benefits for us to reckon the time and make the calculations. These are huge signs for us if we really think and attribute them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we fail to do so, then these things becomes for the people who are ya'qilun, who gives reason, many question marks remains. Okay, many question marks will continue to remain if we don't attribute them to Allah. a supreme being who has the ability to govern those bodies. Okay. And it's not the case like a clockmaker that many of the Western philosophers attribute, those who are not atheists, but at the same time they don't follow a religion as such. A group of them have came up with the idea of like a clockmaker, meaning that when you see a clock working nicely, an automatic clock, then you attribute a maker to it, which is a clockmaker. But then you conclude and say that, okay, at one point of history there was this clockmaker who made it, and then he abandoned the clock and let it work on its own. All the wheels inside and the springs, you have adjusted it in such a way that the clock becomes independent. But this is wrong. You see, everything is following Allah's command. Every day, every second, if Allah has abandoned looking into this universe and holding this universe for 1 second, everything would have collapsed. And these are evidence in many other verses in the Quran. Inna Allah yumsiku as-samawati wal arda an tazula wa la in zalata in amsakahuma min ahadin min ba'di. In Surah Fatir, that Allah holds this earth and heaven from collapsing. If they had collapsed, nobody would been able to hold it after him again. Okay, so these heavenly bodies and stars, in this verse Allah talks about the stars, that they are following His command. And we know in the astronomy people and astrophysics, they calculate, they're able to calculate the effect of one heavenly body on the other based on their distance and the gravitational force and what are the various dynamics between them. Okay, we all know the effect of moon on the earth in terms of the tides and those things. We know the effect of the sun on the earth in its orbit and the attraction and the centrifugal force. So they are able to calculate these things. When there are two bodies, you can calculate. When you add one more body, then you can still calculate, but it becomes very complex, because now you have to calculate the effect of all three bodies on each other. Okay, imagine now on this heaven, just look into the heaven, into the sky, and see the millions and billions of stars there. How would all these interactions between them hold if there were no God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has made a perfect harmony and perfect calculations and holds those things together? Nobody, it would never be possible to really manage this kind of tremendously complex system. See? So it's really things for us to ponder about, to use our intellect and reason. So how wonderfully this Quran really encourages us to think about these things that Allah has given us as gift